Hi, my name is Gracie Moylan and I'm a civil engineering student with an emphasis on environmental engineering. I love to travel and read in my spare time, but I actually spend most of my time swimming as I am a competitive swimmer for UNM. English 2210 was just another course on my checklist for getting my degree. It was an English class, and I knew that I wouldn't struggle, and I guessed I would not learn very much. English has always been very easy for me, the essay writing and all. However, English technical writing taught me something new, how I would write in my career and future. I realized that although I had skill in writing, I had never actually developed the skills I would need to navigate the workforce I plan on entering in 3 years. English technical writing discussed what it means to write professionally. We read how to prevent cultural miscommunications, the impact that layouts can have on understanding, the importance of reviewing and editing, the different layouts of different formats, and how to get information across in the most effective way. I feel that the most important thing I took out of all of the textbook reading was that it wasn't just about the words on the page and what I wanted to say, it was about who I was saying it to and what I wanted them to get out of those words. I realized that instead of writing what I wanted to write, I needed to first think about my audience and the best way that they will understand the information I am presenting. I needed to think about the fact that certain expressions could be misunderstood by my audience or future co-workers from a different country. I needed to understand that although a video may be harder to make, it will be easier for my audience to process what I am saying. I needed to understand that editing was not just ensuring my writing was grammar-free, but to ensure that my purpose was clear to my targeted audience. The projects I created throughout the course were ways for me to put this realization to the test. I created 3 completely different projects with the sole purpose of presenting information in a way that would be best understood by my audience. I learned a lot about organization, planning, writing choices, visuals, and technology. However, the biggest thing I learned was that my audience is my priority and that all other aspects of writing must support that priority. This realization will make a massive impact on my skills going forward, carrying into my career as I learn to think of the purpose of every email, memo, research report, and proposal before I send or submit. In today's society, communication is vital as it is so easy. I can have a conversation with my best friend in England just as easily as my next door neighbor. It is all with the touch of a button. This being said, there's a lot more room for error and miscommunication. A lack of clarity, misuse of a picture, confusing layouts all add up to a chance of error. This class, as I've said throughout my explanation, taught me that my writing and media should all be centered around presenting information in a logical and effective way. Furthermore, peer and instructor feedback was an essential aspect to my process and is something I will keep in mind going forward in my future career. I've always recognized the benefit to instructor feedback, as it seems pretty obvious that these individuals are highly educated and are in complete understanding of the topic at hand and have my best interest in mind. Throughout my project, I received a lot of good feedback from my professor. He commended me on my stylistic choices as well as the way I used my personal experience to connect to my audience. He also commented on things that I could add, for example, adding music to the background of my videos so that it wasn't just my audio, as that could risk boring my audience. Of course, he was also there to communicate with me when I had questions about the media I was choosing to use or the formatting. These were all extremely helpful to me, and I knew that his feedback was a great help to my projects. However, the peer feedback I received throughout the semester was easily the most helpful thing to all of my projects. Whether it be my projects themselves or the discussion posts throughout the semester, my peers were there to read over my thoughts and ideas and either expand on them or critique them. This was so helpful to my creative process as well as to my learning process. In terms of my learning process, it gave me the opportunity to look at my ideas from a different perspective and think about it in a different way. For example, there were many occasions where a peer would say, "I agree with what you were saying, but have you thought about it in this way?" Or, "I actually thought that meant X, Y, or Z." These not only helped me find a different perspective, but furthermore, they allowed me to recognize that 2 people can read the same line and see 2 completely different things or 2 completely different ideas. This ties back to what I said or what I felt I learned in this class that will help me in the workforce, as things are so easily interpreted differently. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely something to keep in mind as a reader and writer and something I will keep in mind going forward. In terms of my project, I don't know what I would have done without my peers' input. Every time I uploaded a draft of my project, I was uploading them with uncertainty and nervousness. Did I forget anything? Is this what I was supposed to do? Do I sound dumb or do I sound well informed? The first thing my peers did was lift my confidence. They commented on how much they liked my personal anecdotes, my design, the way I presented my information, or the way I spoke. This showed me I was on the right track and that my message was conveyed properly and lifted a large weight off of my shoulders. The other thing they did was give me constructive feedback, letting me know what topics weren't really relevant or that I get a little wordy, are just 2 examples of feedback that really helped me in presenting the best project of my ability. They were presenting me with feedback that was completely unbiased and with a totally new perspective than what I have. A lot of my peers had probably not even come in contact with what I was discussing, which made their opinions even more important to me as I could see whether or not my information was clear enough for anyone to understand. I learned a lot from my peers, and I don't doubt that I will use them in the future to make sure that my work is flawless and well conveyed. Overall, from this class, I learned a lot about myself as a writer, and I think that these skills will help me tremendously in the future in my future career. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy my portfolio.